In winter time is a good time to do any weeding amongst the canes. You might like to start that way, remove any of the weeds at the bottom. That will give you a much better view of what's happening with the canes. The raspberry plant has some very fine spikes to it which are really very uncomfortable when they get stuck into you, so definitely this is a job to wear gloves and glasses for. You might be worried about pruning your raspberries. Are they primo canes or floro canes? Are they fall bearing or summer bearing or both bearing? Don't let all that confuse you. People who are much smarter than us understand all that, but they've just given us a couple of really simple rules of thumb to follow. So just follow these 3 simple steps. First, you trim them into a row, remove everything that's outside of the row. Second, you thin that row out, and then third, you attach it to your frame. Let's have a look. So we have a tangle of canes, and we want to now reduce it to be a channel about 1 foot wide. So I'm going to trim out all the canes that are growing outside of that channel. Okay, first step. Trim your patch into an orderly row. The canes are going to be attached to this framework here. So anything that's growing in that area, just totally remove it. You can see on the other side, it's only a foot wide, and the same thing there. Everything that's growing in this area here, we remove it. The beauty of that is that you don't have to discriminate at all. When you come across a patch that's growing outside of the area where you want it to grow, you just take everything out. Doesn't matter whether it's the summer bearing or fall bearing or primo cane, floro cane, sugar cane. Just take everything out outside the channel that you're cultivating. So already after step 1, we've tidied up the tangle quite substantially, and we have a nice orderly row of canes. Now step 2 is to thin out the canes in that row. Thinning out has to be quite severe. You only want 2 or 3 canes per square foot. You want to only retain the most healthy and vigorous of canes. Here are the 3 types of canes you're likely to come across when you're pruning your raspberries. This is a 1-year-old cane. You can see it's still quite shiny. It has some colour to it, a bronzy green olive colour. This is 1 year old. It's going to give us raspberries next year. This is what a cane looks like after 2 years. The bark is split, the colour is grey. It really is a spent force. This one has already given you raspberries in its first year. In its second year, it's 2 years old. They don't flower after that, so these ones need to be removed from the patch. Here's a third type. This colour here is nice, but it's a spindly growth, and we'll remove all these little ones to give the big healthy ones more space. So now we're thinning out. Which ones do we keep and which ones do we cut? So keep this one and remove that one. This one here, look how thin and spindly it is. We can remove that too. You'll get healthy fruit. This cane now has a lot of space. It will get more light and energy. 3 pretty nice canes here. If they're too close, we want to thin them out, so we've only got 2 or 3 in a square foot. So even though this is a perfectly good cane here, we're going to remove it. After a cane has grown for 2 years and given fruit, it starts to get this white mold on it. Here's a nice healthy first year cane, green, bronze and shiny. This one goes. Now we've finished step 2, which was thinning out that row, and you can see there's only probably 2 or 3 canes per square foot. These will get much more light competing for the light. We've just kept the biggest and strongest and removed all the other weak or dead canes. Good to tie your raspberries up to the trellis or holding them in place. They do tend to get blown around by the wind when they get more weight on them because of leaves or raspberries, then they slip all over the place. All tied nicely to the trellis here. They'll get a lot more sunshine. Well, just look at the transformation of this raspberry patch. It was a tangled mess. We've now got all the canes lined up within the trellis. We've thinned out anything that was old and spent or spindly. We've selected the best canes. They now have a lot of light, a lot of sunshine, a lot of air, and they are going to flourish. I really can't wait for summer and autumn. We are going to have a bumper crop.